everyone, it's Reagan and welcome back to another video. Today I have an extra special book unboxing haul, kind of an old-fashioned booktube style video. I personally haven't done it in a while. I literally have, hold on, two big boxes of things to open and show off. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the unboxing with this big box here, which is all of the January YA Book of the Month books. So if you haven't guessed by the giant box of books I'm about to show off, I am actually working with Book of the Month again for their YA book box. As you guys know, I am a huge fan of this service. So Book of the Month is an online curated book subscription service, and every month they pick 5 new YA titles to select from a variety of different genres, all new releases, and you can essentially pick one book for $14.99 and 2 additional books for $9.99. So a really good deal, and they're all hardcover and new. It's a great way to get out of your comfort zone and to discover new books and different genres. I personally have found so many amazing titles over the years through this service. Per usual, I do have a coupon code. If you use the code NEWME, you can actually get your first box for only $9.99. But without further ado, let's dive into the January titles because I have some amazing books to show off, and you know, it's rude to keep you waiting. First book I have to show off is Ashlords, and this is a fantasy horse race competition novel. And this basically follows a group of individuals called Ashlords, and they are gifted very special creatures called phoenix horses. These riders come from different cultures from all around this fantasy world, and they basically culminate in one night in one race as 11 racers basically vie for the crown of this competition. Killing is against the rules, but basically any type of other sabotage or poisoning to kind of get ahead of your competition is definitely allowed. Specifically within this novel and within this race, we hyper-focus on 3 specific writers. One is the daughter of 2 past champions, another won a scholarship and that's how they got their entrance, and the last is the son of a revolutionary. And we follow these characters as they fight for their lives and try to stay in this race amongst the other Ashlords. This just sounds really interesting. I love kind of a competition-centered fantasy story. I've read other race-centered YA novels before and I've really liked them. So I'm very interested to see how this novel unfurls. It's definitely piqued my interest. Next book might be the one I'm most excited about from all the selection, and it's Woven in Moonlight. And this is a YA fantasy novel that is set to be a lush tapestry of magic and romance and history, and it's specifically inspired by Bolivian history, which I think sounds incredibly cool. We follow our main character, who is essentially a decoy. She is a stand-in for the last royal condessa of her people, and she also has the rare and special ability to weave moonlight into like a magical power and ability. The politics in this world really begin to heat up when the usurper of the crown basically demands the hand in marriage of the old condessa, and because our main character is the stand-in slash decoy, she has to go in her ruler's place to basically protect her at all costs. Herself is determined to get revenge for her people and essentially attempts to hunt down a magic relic that could possibly turn the tide of all of the politics in this world. This just sounds so unique and magical. I mean, weaving moonlight into threads, say no more. The cover is extraordinary. I've never read anything inspired by Bolivian history. There's just so much in this novel that really makes me excited. So I definitely feel like this is gonna be one I'm gonna pick up soon. And there's a little sloth on the cover. So cute. The next book that is a selection for the month honestly sounds terrifying, and it is Oasis, and this is a novel where we follow our main character who basically has a really cool summer planned. He's traveled to the deserts to help his father on his archaeological dig site. He's there with some friends, and he's noticed a really cute archaeological assistant that he, plans to possibly make fall in love with him throughout the summer. However, everything kind of gets turned upside down when a sandstorm hits, and him and his friends basically find themselves lost and doomed in the desert. But they stumble upon an oasis, which seemingly has everything they need to survive: food, water, shelter, and some mysterious ruins, which are just calling to them to explore. But when they do so, reality begins to blur, and they're not able to kind of tell what is real and what is fake. And I'm pretty sure there's some like dark horror elements of the story, like who's gonna survive, who can you trust, people might be killing each other. It sounds really dark, really mysterious, and honestly, like I said, really scary. But I am really interested to see kind of how a traditional thriller horror novel might be meshed with some magical components of this as well. Plus the tagline says, "The Oasis saved them, but who will save them from the Oasis?" Chills, okay? I'm scared. The next book that's available to choose sounds super powerful and honestly like a really deep analysis on society at large, and that is Not So Pure and Simple. And this book has a really interesting plot. We basically follow our main character Dell, who's had a crush on his classmate Kira since kindergarten, but the one problem is she's kind of always been taken. She's always had a boyfriend, so stars have never aligned in the way where Dell has kind of been able to make his move. He's also kind of notoriously a playboy, a bad boy. He dates around, if you will. However, he finally gets his chance junior year when Kira is finally single, and he basically joins her church group as a way to kind of get closer to her and hopefully make her fall for him. But as part of this like journey to try to make her fall in love with him, he also joins the purity group within her church, which basically means like pledging yourself, saving yourself for marriage. Another component of the story is that he becomes good friends with one of Kira's good friends, basically as a way to get a good word in with her. And he has a lot of questions about sexuality as well. Essentially, this book, and I think best quoted by the line itself at the bottom, says, critically acclaimed author Lamar Guile shines a brilliant light on the consequences of societal pressure, toxic masculinity, and explores the complexity of what it means to be a real man. Because the last part of this component is, this is about a character who is like on this quest to make this girl fall in love with him, but he doesn't really stop to think about what Kira wants herself. And he basically is pondering like, oh, it doesn't matter, I just need to make her fall in love with me kind of thing. This feels like a book with many, many layers and lots to say, exploring young love, young relationships, and also kind of the societal pressures of having a relationship, and also kind of what you're supposed to do and say and be within as a young man or woman. Sounds really interesting. While I don't read a lot of contemporary fiction, this is definitely one I feel like speaks to me and is really, really interesting to me. So this is another selection this month. And the very last selection for the month of January is a light and fluffy contemporary, and that is Throw Like a Girl. It's a novel where we follow our main character Liv, who is a star softball player. However, her life is kind of turned upside down when she throws one ill-advised punch to a girl in like a big rival game. With this one punch, she loses her scholarship to her fancy private school that she currently attends, her boyfriend, and she gets kicked off the softball team, obviously, and has to transfer to the rival public school within her town. While she's there, she kind of has to face all these people, and she's not too happy about it, but she's really just focused on getting back on the softball team. However, another character at the school, Gray, the star football player who's injured, basically sees her as an opportunity to kind of be his backup while he's recovering, because he like sees how good she is at softball. So I think this is like a sports romance, girl becomes star of football team. It definitely sounds interesting. I personally love sports, so I'm obviously kind of interested in this girl becomes football star scenario. Plus, you know, again, light, fluffy, contemporary is always something I like to pick up when I'm feeling slumpy, because it's just so easy and breezy to read and just like puts a smile on your face. So this definitely looks like a lot of fun and is the last book option. Alright guys, so those are all the books present in this first box, and if you're interested in signing up for the YA Book of the Month service, I do have a coupon code and a link down below for you guys, but these are the first books I'm going to show off. But moving on to the next box. So you might not believe it, but there's actually only one book in here, and a type of book that I've never hauled on my YouTube channel before. Ooh, intrigue. So the book is one I'm super excited about, and I was kind of following its release through the like whole of 2019, and that is Half Baked Harvest Super Simple Cookbook. So I love to cook. I cook a lot. It's one of my favorite like pastimes, especially after like a long work day. And Half Baked Harvest is an Instagrammer, and I've been following her content for a while, and I love, love, love her recipes. Her Instagram page is great. She's basically full of like delicious, semi-healthy, fast, easy recipes that are just like also really cozy and hearty. She just put out this cookbook, and you know, aptly named Super Simple, and I just cannot wait. Like the photography in here is beautiful because she also has like a stunning Instagram. So there's just so many things in here. She has like baking recipes, like soup recipes. I got an Instapot for Christmas, so lots of Instapot recipes. Just so many good soups and just like one pot meals. Anyway, I love her. So I had to get this cookbook. This is my first cookbook of life, I think. But I know I'm gonna be doing a bunch of cooking from here, and I'll hopefully, and my hope is to actually like vlog that process, and like bookmark a lot of these. I'm so excited. So yeah, I bought this. And the last two books I have to show you guys are ones that I'm so excited for. The first one is just like a gift from the heavens. I got this book early somehow. Seriously, big shout out to Epic Reads for sending this to me early. It was the best Christmas gift of life, and it is The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. This is the third and final book to the Truly Devious series, which is a YA whodunit thriller series that I have loved every single book in. They're just so entertaining and just will keep you on the edge of your seat. If you're not familiar, Truly Devious, the first novel, basically is set in a very prestigious boarding school in the Northeast. The founder of the school was basically a business tycoon who had a lot of money and wanted to open a school to kind of give the gifted and talented of America the opportunity to just learn things and like pursue their talents. Shortly after opening the school, his wife and daughter were kidnapped, and their disappearance was essentially never solved. We followed that storyline, but this book is also set in the future, where we follow our main character Stevie, who is a present-day student at the school, and her dream is to become an FBI, CIA agent, basically a detective. So she takes it upon herself to try to solve this mysterious disappearance, and when her life begins to kind of parallel the mystery of the past, things get a little spooky. I love this series. I feel like it artfully jumps from past to present. It has suspense and horror and scariness, but it also feels very classic whodunit. I do get scared really easily, but this to me really perfectly, follows that line of like spooky and scary, but satisfying, and like you're rooting for Stevie. She's a very lovable character, so I'm really excited to see how everything comes together in this final book. I'll be reading this very soon. Speaking of murder mystery, I have another murder mystery book to show off, and that is Things in Jars. This is an adult historical fiction thriller novel, but what really intrigued me is that this is set during like Victorian England, and we follow our main character, who is a woman sleuth detective during this time, which is obviously very unusual for this time period, but we follow her as she's investigating a murder, and she kind of has to like navigate the dark and dreary underworld of Victorian England, like uncover truths about herself and this girl that she doesn't really want to confront to solve it. This just sounds really atmospheric and dark, and honestly just lots of buzzwords for me that I love. Victorian England, sleuth, thriller, classic whodunit with lots of atmosphere, London. I was sold when I saw the synopsis. It just sounds so cool. So this is another book that I wanted to show off for you guys today. Alrighty guys, that is my unboxing book haul. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon with another video soon. Goodbye.